Good morning. Okay, so today is section 84, verses 18 through 34. And in these verses, the sense that I got was he's distinguishing between the higher and the lower priesthood, the Aaronic and Melchizedek, and why there is a higher and a lower. Sorry, there's a beetle. A beetle in my room. That's gross. Alright, so that's what I got from these verses. Let's see, was there anything? Oh, I started listening to the podcast last night, but I didn't get very far because I started listening to it right before bed. So I had to turn it off like 10 minutes into it. But so far, so good. So I recommend that. Okay, so, in verse 19, it's talking about the greater priesthood and holding the key of the mysteries of the kingdom. And Joseph Fielding Smith says, "Thus we see that it is impossible for man to obtain the knowledge of the mysteries of the kingdom, or the knowledge of God, without the authority of the priesthood. Secular learning, the study of the sciences, arts, and history, will not reveal these vital truths to man. It is the holy priesthood that unlocks the door to heaven and reveals to man the mysteries of the kingdom of God. It is this divine authority which makes known the knowledge of God. Is there any wonder that the world today is groping in gross darkness concerning God and the things of his kingdom? We should also remember that these great truths are not made known even to members of the church, unless they place their lives in harmony with the laws on which these blessings are predicated." So, it's saying that without the priesthood, without the blessings of the priesthood, without the authority of God, without God's power on earth, without his influence in this world, nothing can be known. Which I think we can definitely see. And then again he says, the Lord, speaking of the priesthood and the power of the priesthood, sorry, my hair's crazy, and the ordinances of the church which we receive through the priesthood, had this to say, and then he quotes section 84, verse 19. "So, if there is no priesthood, there is no knowledge of God, and that is why the world is in darkness today, because they have no priesthood. They have lost the knowledge of God, and so they have been teaching all manner of tradition, all manner of false doctrine, all manner of man-made philosophy, in relation to God and the principles of truth, pertaining to the salvation of men. When we read things of this nature, it ought to make every man among us who holds the priesthood rejoice to think that we have the great authority by which we may know God. Not only the men holding the priesthood know that great truth, but because of that priesthood and the ordinances thereof, every member of the church, men and women alike, may know God." And that's Joseph Fielding Smith. So in the little bit of the podcast which I got to watch, she's distinguishing between the administrative how there's two functions of the priesthood. There's administrative, which is like prophet, First Presidency, Quorum of the 12, Bishop, blah, blah, blah. There's the administrative side. Then there is the patriarchal side. Father, son, mother, that sort of thing. And she kind of, in the 10 minutes that I watched and listened to, it kind of sounded like the priesthood was given so that this patriarchal portion or function of it could the whole point of life is families. To be sealed, to return. The plan of salvation is about families. It's not about individuals. Eternity is about families, not individuals. And so therefore, the patriarchal function of the priesthood is really what it's all about, and this administrative function just helps us along. Whereas sometimes I think we think of it as this individual, follow the prophet, that sort of thing, that individual salvation type thing, but really it's about this. And not about how some women get upset that they don't have the priesthood, or single mothers don't have the priesthood in their home, or this, that, and the other. When you separate priesthood from males, you understand that the word priesthood just means God's power, God's authority on the earth. And when we go through the temple, we are endowed with that power, not the administrative portion. Well, we are when we're set apart in callings. We are given administrative priesthood blessings and set apart. Anyways, I need to watch more of the podcast. I recommend you do the same as well. If you have issues with this, why don't women have the priesthood type thing? Because it's not about you can't have the priesthood if you're not a man. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, I think that's all for today. That is all for section 84, verses 18 through 34. I'm going to try to watch more of the podcast today. Sometimes you got to get into the rhythm of it, and I didn't get into the rhythm of it. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you later.